Thank you everyone for joining us this morning. This is the Built Green class regarding listing and appraising built green homes. We are joined today by Meg Garabrandt from the Green Building Registry, who will help us kind of go over our partnership between Built Green and the Green Building Registry and how it can impact your listing and appraising services. So I just want to do a quick poll, get a sense of the room and who's here, and just sort of see how familiar you are with green homes. You know, many people can sometimes think they can spot a green home on the horizon. We welcome you to take this poll and let us know which of these are green homes. And we'll just give you a couple seconds to enter those results. All right, Ashley, why don't you go ahead and close that? What are our results? All right, I see we have some trained professionals, I think, in this room. So, you know, most of you either said, you know, there was 3 of them or maybe all of them. And those that said all of them would be correct. 4 of these are actually Built Green projects and certified projects. This one in the top corner is actually called an Earthship house. It is located in the southwestern states. Earthship is a description of a type of greenhouse. It's really made up of a lot of reclaimed materials. But all of these other ones really demonstrate you can't always judge a book by its cover. That old moniker is still true. We have a lot of different design styles. We have remodels as well as multifamily and single family at different star levels, and we'll go over what those star levels look like. So first off, for anyone who's not familiar with Built Green is a green home certification program for single family and multifamily residential construction in the state of Washington. Our program was launched in 2000 by the Master Builders Association of King and Snohomish counties. And in the last 21 years now, we've certified over 21,000 buildings representing 40,000 homes. Our approach with Built Green and our program is a voluntary beyond code strategies. It is a checklist that projects will utilize to score points under different building features or building strategies that are all designed to be beyond code. All of our projects are independently verified for their performance, and those credits are independently verified. And we use a holistic scoring approach that's really based on 7 categories. The newest one that we introduced this year is equity and social justice. And then we have more traditional ones, which are site and water, energy efficiency, health and indoor air quality, materials efficiency, operations, maintenance, and homeowner education, as well as Built Green marketing, which is something that, you know, real estate agents and builders can certainly take advantage of. So our program certifies both new construction and remodels, housing types of all sizes and types, single family and multifamily. We use what's called a STAR system, meaning that that's what communicates sort of how green is that house? What is the performance of that house? So 3 stars are introductory level. It generally represents around 10% better energy performance. A 4-star project is around 20% better than, you know, a standard code built building in Washington. 5 stars really are getting to kind of deep green. It's at least, it's about 30% better in energy performance. And net zero energy is for any star level, it's a label that can be added to any star level as long as they have achieved net zero energy performance over an annual period. Emerald Star is our deepest green program and rating, and this is really more, it's not a checklist, it's actually a performance-based list of criteria that is greater than our 5-star, as well as net zero energy being a requirement. So why should people buy built green homes or green homes in general? Well, they increase savings, not only on utility bills, but also in financial options to purchase that home. So there are green mortgages available on the market that have particularly better rates than a standard mortgage may offer, because they are targeting energy or high performance homes. They also provide more value. Many of these homes are incredibly well designed. They use more durable, kind of longer lasting finish options and exterior options and building practices. So there is less likely for replacements to happen, or when they do, it's at a much longer period of time. So there is increased savings, not only in the operations, but also the maintenance aspect. Healthier, more comfortable living in terms of, better indoor air quality, more comfortable when you're in your house in terms of temperature control, natural kind of ventilation strategies and natural heating strategies. Just make it a more comfortable space. Our homes are conserving natural resources. That's one of the values of the program, is that we are striving to be more efficient with our use of natural resources, as well as conserving those resources once the building is built. The typical traditional thought is, saving water, saving electricity, which then also helps reduce your carbon footprint. We also are aiming to target having a healthier habitat. So again, less carbon is being emitted by these projects, which helps lower our impact as far as climate change, as well as some of our site and water features are really trying to promote healthier habitats by reducing urban runoff and other things that can contribute to unhealthy ecosystems. And lastly, a really big benefit is a better resale value. A certification lends a performance standard that is, as we offer at a third-party verified performance level, and that can actually contribute to a better resale value in the future, because you have a performance that's verified, as well as stating that it was built in a very kind of high quality way. So we actually do studies to look at the actual impact of our projects, and we are very happily surprised and to find out that in our post-occupancy study that we conducted in I think the period of the study was 2015 to 2016, and then it was published in 2017, really looked at 745 homes over a year. And what we found was that they were actually outperforming the energy models that they provided us for certification. So at that different 3-star level, which previously had a lower performance threshold, and so it was sort of just slightly better than code, we were actually finding that the energy savings were roughly 25%. A built green 4-star home was required to at least achieve 15%, and we were actually finding that most of those homes were averaging around 33%. And a built green 5-star, which was requiring to have 30% improvement, was actually finding about 40% improvement over that state energy code line that they were built to. So that just shows that we actually do provide the performance that we're promising with our certifications. So a lot of questions is this something people are looking for? More and more we're finding the answer is yes. It really depends on how you're phrasing it though. Words matter when you're kind of talking about these features. Typically, we don't recommend saying, green home per se. We use that as an industry because it's kind of our lingo. But when you're talking to a potential home buyer, energy efficiency is a big key term that they're looking to hear for. Indoor air quality has become very popular and impactful. Just, think about all the wildfire smoke we've been having. People are more aware of VOCs, and indoor air contributors. Water conservation is also becoming more popular. And all of these sort of tie into the overwhelming kind of, well, not overwhelming, but the majority of home buyers entering the market are looking for lower operational costs as a driving force for the types of homes they're looking for. Now, I'm not going to say it's the first thing they're going for, because we all know location is still king. But if you can offer that, there are NAHB has actually found that people are willing to pay more for those type of homes, called, they refer to it as a green premium. Homebuyers are also looking for multi-generational and universal design features, so that they can stay in their homes longer, and so that they can really have these houses that will last them a long time or through multiple life stages, so that they're not constantly having to reinvest or move, which is very disruptive. Millennials in particular, which are kind of these first-time home buyers, that's sort of what they are considered these days. They really have a strong drive to do the right thing. And what that implies is that when they invest their money in these large investment decisions, they are consciously trying to make it match their values. And one of their values is resource efficiency and environmental conservation being a high priority for them. And that's really due to just being very aware of their actions affecting the climate. And with a lot of millennials having student debt and other financial constraints, they're really looking to try and invest in something that will last them a long time, that is a good value and will provide for them, given that it is incredibly hard for them to maybe even enter the market. Again, they're trying to really do more with less. So those multifunctional spaces, or a house with really good design that allows them to do multiple things in one area and not have a lot of segmented spaces that are single solo focused on a function, are what they're really looking for. So these are, just some of the features that are influencing our market and who's buying them. And as far as, again, those terms, operating efficiency, long-term utility cost savings, quality construction, these are all things that Built Green is striving to build into our homes that we certify. High performance, again, we're going to see a lot of these terms repeated, but it's shown that these are really ones that connect with people to provide them the understanding of what that house and what the value they're getting from that investment is. In terms of not only communicating that to a home buyer, but to an appraiser, and communicating the value, NAHB actually looked at this and found of the people who are communicating that, the largest kind of thing they found that communicated that was a third-party rating or a certification. Second to that was a HERS score, which HERS is it's an energy score attached to a home, but they only look at energy. And then the green appraisal form, which Meg will go into more detail. So these are, things that are helping you communicate to buyers, to your appraisers, the appropriate value they should be envisioning in this home or setting for the home for the lender. And for our builder members, that's also incredibly important so that they can get the value that they put into it, you know, so they continue to be building at this level. So qualified appraisals are very important for green homes so that, again, our builders can get that value from their efforts to do the right thing. And so lender appraisal guidelines actually require appraisers to compare energy efficient features to those of comparable sales, meaning they should be comparing a high performance home to another high performance home, or ones that have similar features. There's also a specific appraisal for solar energy production, but we're mainly focused on just overall appraisals right now. Important to interview the appraiser when they call to make an appointment. Ask them, are you familiar with Built Green? Are you familiar with high performance features? You could even ask specific features about the home. Are you familiar with this? If they are not familiar with these type of high performance or green features, politely tell them you'll have to call them back. Then you should call the lender and ask them to reassign your project to an appraiser with requisite knowledge, and that is the key term to use. And so that is really how you're going to make sure you get the best value for the project, not only, again, from the builder's perspective, but also from a home buyer's, to make sure that they are lending at the appropriate level. And you know, if it is determined by the appraiser, who should be a green appraiser and familiar with these systems, an adjustment to the value should be warranted, it must be made. Provide this. Those are documentations you will need to provide. So different documentation types are third-party certifications or certificates. And then another one that you can provide is a builder letter describing the green features. And there are templates online that can be used to essentially list those green features. Another thing that we also can provide are Built Green checklists, which actually document every credit that a project earned. That isn't typically provided for an appraiser, but you can certainly use it for your listing or any other sort of, or to gather what those green features were for the builder letter. And then also just making sure you're using a certified green appraiser. There's a couple different programs out there. The ones that are kind of relevant for our region is Earth Advantage's certified green appraisers. They have a list of quite several and numerous among different counties here in Washington that you can hire, as well as the Appraisal Institute's Valuation of Sustainable Building programs, which provide training to appraisers as well. Built Green resources that we provide our real estate community are located on our website. So we have program infographics and case studies to better understand what our projects are doing for the community, the buyers, as well as just different projects and what they've done. We have green home informational flyers that you can print out and provide on, you know, let's say a kitchen counter during your walkthroughs. We also offer certification levels and what they mean. So we have some write-ups on what those are, so you can kind of learn the language of what those star levels mean when you talk to buyers. And then we do have links to those green appraiser lists so that you can go find green approved appraisers or check to see if your appraiser is in that program. Our team specifically, which is myself and Nina, we can provide you copies of the Built Green certificates. We can look it up by a project address. You would just email us at, and we can provide that email in the chat. We provide copies of the certification checklist, like I mentioned. We also can provide folks with Built Green yard signs for marketing purposes. and sales purposes, we offer educational webinars like this. And then annually, we offer a Built Green conference, which is a one-day conference for our entire kind of green building community here. And we just had ours, so next year is September 15th in 2022. So you can keep a lookout for that. And I'm going to hand it over to Meg now, and she will let us know all about the Green Building Registry and how it can help you in your projects.
Great, thank you so much, Sonia. I really enjoyed presenting with other people because I always get to learn new things as well. So thank you for joining us today. My name is Meg Garabrandt. I'm the Senior Manager of Real Estate Services at Earth Advantage and the lead on the Green Building Registry. So a little background on me. I spent 11 years as an executive at a regional MLS. I actually live here in the Northeast of the US. I was instrumental in, back in 2008, starting to green the MLS, adding fields to our system to support this data. I trained agents and appraisers on how to use the fields in the system and what the data means as part of their business practices. And in 2018, we actually implemented the first in the nation auto population of solar data into new listings. So one of the challenges that arose during this time is that, finding this information was really difficult. Often a homeowner doesn't provide it to you. They may have forgotten or not recognized that it's important to include in part of their listing. And consumers are looking for this information more and more. So to solve the problem of sourcing this data, we built the Green Building Registry, which is the single source home performance data for the real estate market. It is a product of Earth Advantage, and Earth Advantage is oops, can everybody see my screen okay? Just want to make sure that we're good there. Okay. Earth Advantage is a nonprofit based in Oregon, and we're really focused on bringing this data to the marketplace. We have our own certification program. We are also advocating for above code building standards, workforce development and training. So there are a lot of different things that Earth Advantage is doing. And so the Green Building Registry is just one piece of the pie. So today we're going to talk about maximizing the inclusion and display of home performance data in your listings. So Sonia gave a great overview about the Built Green program, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about where you get it. What the data is available at our public facing website, as well as documentation. Why does all of this matter? And most importantly, how to use this data in your real estate business. Okay, so green data, what is it and where do we get it? So we have, as you saw on the earlier slide, we have almost 2 million residential certifications throughout the US at this point. This map is actually almost a year old, but we can no longer run a query on the entire United States because it will crash our system, which is now a good problem to have. But it gives a nice visual that really this data is everywhere. So in your specific marketplace, I have highlighted our data partners. So as Sonia mentioned, Built Green has decided to provide the Green Building Registry with their certification data so that it can be easily accessed through our public facing website, which I'll show you in a little bit how to get there and how to use it to find this information. So in your specific market area, on the national level, we have HERS ratings, Lead for Homes, National Green Building Standard, obviously Built Green. Right now, the data for Built Green goes back to 2013, and we'll be continuing to backfill that data, the historical data. So that's still in process as this relationship is still relatively new. And then, as I mentioned, Earth Advantage has a home and also multifamily certification program as well. And there's a little bit of that data in your marketplace. So what is this data that we're talking about that's available through the Green Building Registry? So there is, within the real estate industry, which you may be familiar with, there's an entity called RESA, which is the Real Estate Standards Organization. And they have created standardized fields for a lot of common fields that exist throughout the US. So GBR is built on those standard fields for green verification and power production. All of the data we have is original source. So we get the data directly from Built Green into the Green Building Registry and all of our other data partners as well. This means that it has been collected by a trained and certified third-party professional. It has gone through a quality assurance process and been verified by the program. We also do an address verification process when we bring the data into our system. We don't take any homeowner reported data because we are looking to make sure that all of the data that we have is third-party verified, because that helps with the veracity of the information as you think about the downstream process, such as the appraiser and financing of it. So we just decided that's really the most important data for us to have. And all the permissions are in place to be able to include this data in a public environment. So in short, it's good data. And really, it's about labeling home performance. So you're probably familiar with like USDA Organic, or if you've bought a piece of equipment or maybe an appliance, you're looking at an Energy Guide label. So all of this information is about putting a consistent and standardized label on home performance on homes throughout the US. So what data is available as well as the documentation? So I mentioned earlier that the fields that we use are real estate standard data fields. So it's going to include 8 to 9 data points for the green verifications. And then we also have the ability to provide some solar data. We do have some solar data from Built Green that we will be loading into our system in the very near future. So we're happy to be able to provide that into your marketplace as well. And we also include, as Sonia mentioned, a link to the pre-filled Appraisal Institute Residential and Energy Efficient Green Addendum. So we'll talk about what that looks like and why it matters in a little bit. So to give you an idea of the data, so you can see, and this probably is relatively consistent when you're looking at the map, with where people live and population centers throughout the state of Washington. So you can see we have over 8,200 Built Green certified homes in the state of Washington. We have a little over 1,000 Earth Advantage home certifications, just shy of 8,000 HERS rated homes. We have some LEED for homes and NGBS as well. So in total, as of the end of September, or middle of September, we had over 16,000 certified homes in the state of Washington. So how do you find this data? So I'm going to walk through a few slides. I'm using our public-facing website just to help you get acclimated so that hopefully when you go and visit and search for this data, you won't have any issues doing that. I will preface this by saying, since I created this slide, my marketing team has swapped out the photo on our public-facing website, so it now looks a little different, but the URL is us.greenbuildingregistry.com. And you're going to see on the homepage, it's pretty plain, just a search bar. Here you can search by a specific property address if you want to look up and see if a property maybe you're interested in listing or buying has a certification associated with it. You can look at towns, zip code, counties. You can search the whole state if you want. So there's a lot of different options for search within that main bar. Once you have entered your search criteria, you're going to land on this page. And here you have the option of opening this little hamburger menu. And this is going to provide different filters that are available on our website. So the property type, as I mentioned, we have single family and multifamily. So you have the ability to filter on that. The default is to include them both. If you open the certification type, if you are looking just for Built Green homes in your market area, then you would want to select this Built Green home button. Okay, so you have the ability to look by specific certification program. We also have, under the more filters, the ability to do a date search. So when a home was certified is also really important. A home that was certified in 2021 is going to have different features and characteristics than a home that was certified in 2015. And that's because as time goes on, just as building codes improve and modify over time, the requirements in these different certification and rating programs also improve and change over time as well. So when a home was certified is sometimes a very important piece of the puzzle as well. So you do have the ability to filter based on the date. And then you hit apply, and then you get your updated search results. So this is a specific property overview page. You can see this specific home in Seattle is a built green rated home. You can also see on this page, we have here the important appraisal information. So we have a URL as well as a button to download the AI Green Addenda. So this is pre-filled, and I'll talk to you a little bit more about that, what that looks like in a moment. So you can open up this little container by clicking the down arrow, and this works regardless of the type of certification that is on a home. And then you will see the details of this specific certification. So this specific home was, the type is a built green, and is also verified by Built Green. It was certified on April 29th of 2021. It received a 5-star rating. It is certified, so we do want to make sure that the information we're getting in the Green Building Registry is certified homes. And then there's also some additional data here so that if you did need to contact Built Green about a specific property, they may, in addition to property address, sometimes it's helpful to, for them to match up based on a verification key. It's really just a unique identifier. And then they all have versions as well. So as I mentioned, as these certification standards change, the version there will be different as well. So what do you need to do with this information? Enter it on your listings, okay? That's really important to get it out into the real estate marketplace. And that's one of our biggest goals with the Green Building Registry, is to get more of this data in the marketplace. It improves transparency, it helps buyers make a more informed decision, and it helps build trust and confidence in this, making this huge purchase. So you can also obtain, as Sonia mentioned, the Built Green certificate from Built Green. You can add this as a photo on your listing, upload it as a document or attachment in your MLS system. So, but the biggest thing is get this information on your listings. So how do you do that? So the Northwest MLS was gracious enough to share some screenshots with me as to how you would do this in this specific MLS system. So hopefully for many of you, this is the system that you use. If you don't, I would check your MLS software and see what fields you do have to enter this information. And if you don't have many of them or enough of them, especially dates, request your MLS to adopt the RESO standard fields for this information, because that provides a comprehensive picture of this specific certification. So you can see here, they have green building information. They have 4 different certification options here. If you recall back to the slide where we had the programs listed out, it looks like we're probably missing NGBS from this list and Earth Advantage home certification. Here you can see Built Green LEED, the Energy Star. And over here, there's an EPS, which is a Northwest and primarily Oregon certification standard. And then you have the ability just to enter a HERS index score. Whatever you do, don't enter 0 here, because a 0 on a HERS rated home is net 0. It's able to produce as much energy as it's using. So don't enter 0. We had this field when I was at the MLS, and agents thought, well, it's not applicable to me, so I'm just going to put a 0 in there and move along. Well, it is significant and very significant in this case. So select your built green, and then once you do that, you will be able to move on to the drop down to indicate the level of stars that the built green certification obtained, and make sure you do that as well. And then you can also do that on Lead for Homes and the Energy Star program. There are a few different levels available in that Northwest program as well. So those are the fields you have available for certifications in your MLS. If you don't feel like that's enough information, like I mentioned, that they don't have the date, that's really important. And the RESO standard fields help provide that comprehensive picture. So you can always request your MLS build out these fields a little more comprehensively for you. So let's move along to the AI Green Addendum. So this is a standard optional form from the Appraisal Institute, and we have a partnership with them to be able to pre-fill some information related to the certifications, ratings, and in some markets, solar data onto this document, which really assists in the process of the appraiser not having to manually enter as much information. So the full document is over here on the left, and I highlighted this section here and pulled it out over here because Built Green is considered a green certification. So what this means is that because it's also a regional, it is going to show up under this other here, okay? And it has the version, the organization URL, Built Green, and indicate that it's provided by the certifying organization and the date that it was certified, okay? So you can see all of the different certification options that are here. Further down on the screen, there's the data for HERS as well as home energy score. So this is a great benefit to appraisers in providing this documentation. You do, as I mentioned, have the ability to download this, so it may be a great thing for you to do to also either add it as a photo in a listing or upload it as an attachment or a document to your listing as well. And if you're looking for more information on Built Green, the content portion of our website, usagbr.org/data, we give a brief overview of all of our different data partners, as well as a link back to their website. So if you ever need to go there from our website, you can certainly do that easily. Okay, so who cares? So Sonia already provided some great content leading into this. So some of mine is a bit redundant, but one thing I did want to talk about is that there are a lot of things happening, not only within the real estate industry, but also outside, that is really having an impact on increased awareness of this information, increased consumer demand, and not only new construction, but in some marketplaces, the improvement of existing homes as well. So residential housing accounts for about 22% of the US greenhouse gas emissions. Okay, that's like a fifth of all of it, and that's a lot. And we know that renovating older homes can improve lives as well as help fight climate change. So one of the things that's happening is that states and municipalities are faced with the need to develop carbon reduction goals, and this is taking the shape through climate action plans. So there are a number of those that are taking shape around the state of Washington. So it may be something that you want to look into a little bit to see what might be coming, because it could have, especially if it's associated with a certification or energy labeling policy, it could have a significant impact on your real estate business as well. So there's also increased growth in corporate sustainability, green mortgage-backed securities, utility incentive programs. They're offering money to help improve existing homes. Better building codes, are creating new construction, better housing stock, and consumer demand. So this graphic right here is just kind of walks through sort of the life cycle of this process. So there are a lot of different reasons why home performance improvements are happening. We are then capturing all of this asset data into a single source here at the Green Building Registry. And our goal is to get this into listings, which will then get it out into the greater real estate marketplace. Fannie and Freddie have specific mortgage products related to homes with certifications and ratings associated with them. And their ability to sell those as green mortgage-backed securities, institutional investors to help with their environment, sustainable, and government investing are eager and hungry for this green mortgages. And that's putting more money into the ecosystem, which is going to help more homes get built and retrofitted to a higher standard. And also, just as important, the carbon impact of buildings will be decreased. So I have a few slides about millennials. I think Sonia provided a great overview. Millennials are now the largest percentage of buyers in the marketplace, and they are looking to, they're all about efficient lifestyles. They're about having control over their environments. They want the convenience where they can sort of set things and forget it. Maybe they like some smart home technology that may be associated with some of these new construction homes that have these certifications. And they really have the power to raise awareness about energy efficiency and consumption. And they expect these energy efficient features in their homes, especially the new construction homes. So this is from NAR's Homebuyer and Seller Generational Trends Report that was published earlier this year. And I wanted to share this because if you are a member of the National Association of Realtors, who have that R, you have access to all of this research. So there's some great studies that they published. This one, as well as the Realtors and Sustainability Report that they publish every year, is another great one. But you can see across all age groups, these features that were considered very important all relate to a home that was built above code or maybe had improvements, and tie in nicely to a home that may have a certification or rating associated with it. And also, as Sonia mentioned, purchasing a home is typically the largest investment a person will make. Millennials are concerned about climate change and economic growth. And we can see here, 95% of millennials are interested in sustainable investing. And so they're looking at their home purchase as an investment. So they're looking for this type of information out in the marketplace. So how are people finding these homes? Well, where does everybody go today to look for homes? They're looking online, okay? So all buyers are looking for the detailed information about the properties for sale. So that's another reason to incorporate and include this information on your listings. And the other younger millennials are also looking for real estate agent contact information. So on those website displays, usually the agent and brokerage information is available as well. So make sure that that's there. And in your profile, if you have a place where you can fill out an agent profile, if you have the education like NAR Green designation or a couple of the others that are available, promote that. Explain what it means that you have this information. And then, we can see the value of promoting energy efficiency in residential listings. It's in the West, it's 66% that we're looking at in your specific market area. But one of the things I also like to look at, and this is from that NAR sustainability report from this year. So while overall 65% of agents feel energy efficiency promotion and listings is somewhat or very or somewhat valuable, 54% don't know if their MLS has green fields, and 47% of the respondents don't use the green MLS data fields. So I'm hoping after you have go on your way today, that you will be more mindful of this. You'll use the fields that your MLS has, get this data into listings. So, as we know, it's not getting there. So what can you do? Agents, you can enter this data on listings. And if you're a buyer agent, know how to search for this data in your MLS system. So what's in it for you as an agent or an appraiser? So we know that historically this information usually is not getting onto listings. Okay, so that's why we're creating the central resource as a place to go. We also have the ability to connect to your MLS for data auto population, so that as you enter a new listing, this information can automatically flow through. So that is an opportunity and an option as well. So what's the impact of this missing data? Well, we know, and Sonia talked about the increased value that a certified home brings to the marketplace. So if the information's not there, the market's not able to react to it. The appraiser's not going to know to establish the appropriate value, and the lender isn't going to know to maybe offer a better mortgage option with a green mortgage product. It also helps provide insight into the true cost of ownership. And, this really is about transparency. A buyer knows that a higher performing home that has this data is going to cost less for them to operate. So really, you have the opportunity to provide new value to your customers. Make the case that you are part of the solution. If your clients are interested in climate change, you're incorporating this data to help with climate action, supporting and showing, sustainability initiatives, and that you have a demonstrated ability to use this data to properly value and market a home. All right. And again, you want to make sure that you include this in your online bios and profiles and on different websites where you can. So put more information in your real estate business. How can you do that? I talked about education. There are different trainings you can take to get designations and certifications that really give you a better understanding of what all of this means and why this type of home is different. Maybe you initiate, or maybe your company already has a corporate sustainability plan. It's an opportunity for differentiation. As I mentioned earlier, this transparency builds trust. Consumers are looking for this. Really embrace the data and use it to your advantage, especially if there's solar panels. I've heard so many stories that, a seller didn't recognize any value for an own solar system, so this provides an opportunity to show that you know how to properly value a home. So there's a few other things here, but I do want to get to a couple of other specific things. So if you are a listing agent, ask questions of your seller. Have they done any recent updates to the home? Do they have a prior energy audit, that documentation or certificate? Get that from them if you can. Go to the Green Building Registry and look this up. Include it on listings and for sale, and also rentals. Explain what this means in the public remarks. Sonia had a great slide she showed earlier about terms that resonate well in the consumer marketplace related to this. If you say energy efficient and sustainable, yeah, some people are going to resonate with that information. But if you're promoting the comfort and health benefits of the home, chances are good that you'll have a more favorable response to that. Include and attach the AI Green Addendum. And you can always provide recommendations on improvements that have a valuable ROI for your seller if they're looking to make any updates before selling. So I have this marketing matrix I put together that really talks about a lot of different ways you can market your listing in an MLS. We start down here at the good, the bottom left, and go to the best. And likely things that you have available to do easily now. And maybe there are some things that maybe future opportunities for you that aren't available within your MLS systems today. Getting it into the listings makes it searchable, include it in the virtual tour, have the information available at the open houses. We talked about the RESO standard fields, data auto population. I've seen in some markets, very clever agents actually taking the logo of the certification that the home had and overlaying it on the main photo in their MLS. So wherever that went, generally speaking, make sure your rules allow for this. It had that logo and that branding on that home that really set it apart as well. So on the buying side of things, as I mentioned earlier, chances are buyers aren't going to ask for an energy efficient or sustainable home. Listen to the language that the buyers are using when they're talking about what they want in their home. Chances are, they're talking about health and comfort, economical, affordability is big these days, especially with house prices skyrocketing throughout the US. And look at the must-haves versus nice-to-haves. Are there any occupant health concerns? A lot of these homes have better indoor air quality. They're keeping the outside elements out, and the inside air is much cleaner and better. So think about allergies and asthma and weather events that are happening. So these homes are helping to keep all of that outside of the inside environment. Make sure that you review and explain that information and documentation that listing agent entered on the listing, so that because we're all about still education and educating some of these consumers as well. So just like a home inspection is evaluating the condition of a home, what happens is a home gets an energy audit as part of this process, and it's evaluating the performance of that home. So there are some different financing options available from Fannie and Freddie. And I believe that, I don't know for certain if FHA and VA have green loans, but that would be something you want to check in on. These are two of the more common ones that are utilized out in the marketplace. So what could this mean for a potential buyer? Maybe they want to make some updates on a home. Maybe it doesn't have a certification. You can see this example here. They're going to finance $5,300 in energy efficiency improvements into their mortgage, and they're actually going to save $29 a month. So where is that coming from? Well, look at their average gas and electric bill. Without these improvements, it would be $146. And with them, it would be $98. So it makes sense to either refinance or purchase. So to summarize, GBR has we know that the buyers needs the trustworthy data that's accurately displayed in listings to provide the proper valuation for the home. It may help reduce liability if you have the information available through auto population, as well as making sure you have that documentation that is supported. So we do have GBR now as a single source of this information throughout the US. So before you list or buy, do your green check on our website and enter this data in your listings, or maybe in this marketplace, because it's still so crazy, a potential buyer is waiving a home inspection. Well, come to the Green Building Registry, because that home may have a certification or a rating, which would help to give you some information. I'm certainly not advocating that an inspection be waived. In fact, I would never buy a home again without an inspection and an energy audit in place. So do your green check at our public facing website and enter this information on your listings. And that concludes my portion of the presentation, and we're happy to take any questions that may have come in, or if you have any questions.
So Nina, why don't you just ask the questions?
Great, will do. Alrighty. Let's see here. So this one is from Muriel. Oh, well, it looks like you answered that, Sonia. Well, I'll kick it off. How would someone in a pre-sale situation utilize these tools? What if the home has not yet been fully certified or is listed on the Green Building Registry yet?
Yeah, so Meg and I will answer this for our different programs. For pre-sale situations where maybe the home hasn't been certified yet, typically a certification may come out a few months after it's completed. And in our market, with it being so quick turnaround these days, a lot of our built green homes are actually getting pre-sold. So they're not even really, they're utilizing MLS prior to the project maybe even being finished. And in those cases, we recommend emailing Built Green directly to check on the project status. If it is not certified at the time, you can still list the information in the description of the listing and say you would need to use the term targeting Built Green 4-star or whatever star level that seller is targeting. So typically that's a builder communicating that to you. That's something you could put in the description that doesn't require the actual documentation. If you would like documentation, we can provide you the enrollment letter to verify that it is enrolled in the program. It will not say that it's certified, it's just that it's enrolled. So that is one piece of documentation you could provide to a potential seller, as well as what that targeted star level is. And then we're happy to provide that information. I'll put our email in the chat, and Meg, why don't you address from Green Building?
Yeah, absolutely. So all of the data that we have in the Green Building Registry is on completed and final projects. So on new construction homes, oftentimes what happens is a builder will submit plans that they are shooting for a certain certification level with a specific program. We don't incorporate that into the Green Building Registry because a lot can change throughout the build process. So we only have those final completed certified homes. But this is also, as Sonia mentioned, there could be a little bit of a lag in timing, and that's absolutely the case. But this is also really important information at time of resale as well. These homes were built better and to a higher standard, so it's still going to matter greatly at time of resale.
And then I will just, for the rest of the group, kind of answer Muriel's question here. They asked about FHA or Veterans Affairs having green loans, and there are multiple green loans. So there's the Green Choice Mortgage by Freddie Mac, the Home Style Mortgage by Fannie Mae, the Energy Efficient Mortgage by FHA/HUD, and then there's also a Veterans Administration mortgage program where it allows the buyer to finance $6,000 over the mortgage amount to make energy improvements, which could certainly be valuable in maybe a resale of a house that maybe it was certified 15 years ago or something, and they would like to, maybe the heat pump needs to be, or like some sort of water heater needs to be replaced, or a furnace, or some sort of heating equipment or insulation work. That sort of program could go towards that. So it would be more applicable to like a resale house rather than like a new house. I would hope no one's making improvements on a brand new certified house. That is certainly not our intention with the project, but there are different options, and typically lenders are not the ones offering these. So it's very beneficial to inform your buyers about these options so that maybe they can ask the lender that they're working with about them to try and get them to do maybe the extra paperwork involved to look at that. And really the documentation is key to being able to go after those products. So it's a smaller group. So are there any other questions? We want to make sure we get everybody's time. All right, well, thank you so much for participating in our webinar today. And we will certainly be following up with this with a participation survey, which we would love to have you answer for future program offerings that might interest you, as well as we will be offering the recording to you as well later. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Take care.